I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down. He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please? Just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Wanda! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man. No, you won the fight.
OMG. I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, obviously podcast from iTunes, Spotify, radio, etc. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Got a little bit of a fever here. Don't feel so hot, but I'm going to push through just for you guys because we were on yesterday because Rob was ducking the show. No snarky look or comment from Rob. Shocked. Damn it, it's so hard to troll lately. Anyways, we have Charlo, Adams, Andrade Silitsky, all going to talk about breakdown, talk about the middleweight division as a whole, obviously with these two middleweight fights, and who is, quote, deserving of a Canelo fight. Plus, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders are in negotiations. Yeah, that's still a bit shocking in a way. I wasn't expecting that. Plus a pay-per-view attached to it, 50-50. A lot to get to with that one. Jarrett Hurd is officially rematching Julian Williams, most likely in Philadelphia later this year. He has activated the rematch clause, plus some others from minor topics to get to. Call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. But, of course, I am joined, as usual, by the one, the only, second cousin twice removed of Sir Eddie Hearn, Mr. Robbie Hearn. Rob, how you doing, man?
All good. For people that don't know, I've got no visual cues off Matt, so I don't know when I'm going to be jumping in and when he's about to stop talking or
just cut me off. That's fine.
Stop ranting or anything like that. But yeah, I'm ready to go. The zombie in the chat, Rob rocking a non-AJ shirt. I don't wear an AJ shirt that often. But yeah, let's get going. And Matt, check the one-on-one chat.
Oh, let me read it really fast. Talk for a second, Rob.
Yeah.
Plug the website, something.
Yeah, so remember, everybody, on your way in, hit that thumbs up. Like Team Batman Boxing has just said in the chat, hit that thumbs up, share the show. If you're feeling it, there's a little, super chat button on the old chat there that would be appreciated. Hopefully, I'm going to be at the White and Rivas fight for credentialed for the show. So, a little bit of petrol money, pay my way. That would be good, helpful. But yeah.
Quickly, so I can talk about, because this is breaking news, so we should really talk about this first off the bat, because it's about the Canelo Kovalev situation. Per Mike Coppinger over at The Athletic, coming with the interview with Bob Arum, and the exact quote, which I'm going to read, and sorry, you should all go pay for The Athletic. I mean, it's a decent outlet, and plus, this is like premium content that I'm paying for. But digressing, top-ranked CEO Bob Arum, this is directly from Mike Coppinger, who co-promotes Kovalev alongside Main Events, tells The Athletic that there's an agreement in place between Kovalev and Yard that would free up the Russian for a high-profile showdown with Canelo. Arum says that bout is set for August 24th in Russia. ESPN Plus is slated to stream in the U.S. That fight he's talking about is Kovalev-Yard. I got everybody to agree that if Kovalev and Canelo happens in September, we would give everyone money to step aside and put Yard in with Gilberto Ramirez to fight for the number one position. Arum said ringside at the Pechanga Resort Casino, blah, blah. Rob, I mean, your quick thoughts on this. This is breaking news right off the bat. Like, this happened literally 5 minutes ago. Do you think? Well, I mean, yeah. Again, your thoughts on this sort of breaking news about Canelo Kovalev maybe happening. That the Kovalev Yard fight, which was penciled in for August, is now going to get pushed back, and step aside money is now involved. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting because that was going to be the only issue I think is regarding the Yard fight, and I believe I'm not sure where it came from, but Kovalev had said that he would take care of Yard before any Canelo fight. But if the big money fight with Canelo is available and it's not going to affect him being, the champion at 175, then I don't see why he would want to do the mandatory fight first. I would think he would want to rise to the challenge that Canelo's, putting out there that he wants to fight at light heavyweight. Yeah, interesting development that it's, been sort of spoken about, and Bob's got everybody to agree. So obviously Yard can take that step aside money, get another big fight with Gilberto Ramirez in the meantime, and then obviously still get the big money fight again, I guess, with Kovalev again. So it's kind of almost like win-win with everybody, because I know a lot of people felt Yard wasn't maybe ready and things like that. So he gets a good test with Ramirez at 175, and obviously depending how that goes, but he's then going into a Kovalev fight with a real good bit of form behind him. So,
and it seems at this point that Canelo is like dead set on Kovalev. Like, there's way too much reporting with Kovalev specifically that's not obviously the front runner. Canelo and Golden Boy are pushing for it. I think we're probably gonna get that fight, honestly, at this point. I mean, Bob Arum's saying, hey, we have discussed things with Frank Warren, everyone involved, the sanctioning bodies, we have deals in place. It's far too advanced for it not to actually happen at this point, in my opinion. So I think we're going to get Canelo Kovalev in September, which is just weird. God, I can't believe we're going to get that fight.
And also, off the back of Oscar's tweet to Eddie, he said like that you're not involved. So I think the Callum Smith stuff is kind of, it was mentioned. They sort of mentioned Callum Smith's name first, sort of like called him out, but that seems to have been put on the back burner for now, because like you say, it does definitely seem like they want that big jump up 2 divisions and take on the Crusher.
And plus, I mean, if you're Canelo, and let's say Callum Smith or Kovalev's the option, why not just move up the extra weight class, the extra 7 pounds, and just fight Kovalev, who's a bigger name, better legacy fight for you than Callum Smith at this point? It makes sense that Callum Smith is not the first or even second option probably for Canelo.
Yeah, because let's be honest, I know the whole jump in 2 divisions is like, wow, and it's an intriguing fight, but you would think, Kovalev is maybe nearing the end of his time at the elite level compared to maybe a Callum Smith, who is huge at the weight.
And just getting into his own as well.
He's in his 20s still,
And, I mean, he just has breakout performance, like, in a way. Like, you got to put in that perspective. That George Groves fight was, what, the end of last year or somewhere around then? It was, what, like, maybe midsummer?
Yeah. But, yeah, obviously he won that World Boxing Super Series, picked up the WBA Super title, and he's Ring Magazine champion. And he's already got the diamond belt that if he beat Canelo anyway, he'd get another one.
And to your point about the Yard Ramirez fight, I think, or in your opinion, being a really good option and just a good outcome of what might happen, because Yard needs a true test. Gilberto really needs a good fight at 175 because he hasn't had that yet. This would be that in a way. Maybe not an established name at the division, but at least a name that's talked about a lot within the division. I think it makes perfect sense. Like, if this was to happen, and if we're not going to get Triple G, of course, my real opinion is I would rather have Triple G, Canelo 3 than anything else at this point. But that's not going to happen, then Kovalev is what it is at this point. Moving on, though, because we do have a lot of other topics to get to, and we're going to come back around to Canelo and Spence still calling him out for some god-awful reason. But let's talk about the fights this weekend. Still in the middleweight division and still obviously connected to Canelo and what he does. Jermall Charlo picking up a unanimous decision win against Brandon Adams. and obviously Demetrius Andrade picked up a unanimous decision win against Solitsky. Both rather dominant, though, in different ways. I'll be honest. You guys are lucky I'm sick, because I would be ranting and raving about these two fights. Both these fights were boring, in my opinion. Both these fights were ugly, not fun. In a weird way, I think both guys have lost hyper momentum in this division. And I've made a comment about that on Twitter that had the PBC contingent all in arms, yelling at me that, Charlo's just had shitty matchups. Nobody wants to fight him. Or, actually, Charlo didn't peak with J-Rock. That wasn't his peak of hype and momentum. It was actually Hugo Centeno Jr. That was the peak for Charlo. And at this point, guys, Charlo just needs to fight a legit top 10 name. And honestly, the same is with Andrade. Both of these guys need to fight a relevant name. And on top of that, have a good fight. They've had really piss-poor fights as of late. The quick Centeno knockout, none included. Charlo's middleweight run has been kind of lackluster, to put it lightly. Andrade especially so. Perhaps one of the most snore-inducing fighters in the sport right now, honestly. And I'm just not going to get on a hill or a wave a flag that one of these guys is getting ducked by Canelo, that Canelo is avoiding these guys. I don't see it. I don't. Both these guys have not done enough in the weight class. Both these guys have not looked good enough in the weight class, in my opinion, that we need to talk about them fighting Canelo or Triple G. Like, that's why I think Canelo Triple G should happen now. And honestly, best case scenario would be Andrade Charlo finally fight at 116, 154. And the winner of that fight fights the winner of Canelo Triple G. That would be a best case scenario. We're probably not going to get that. We're probably going to get Triple G Andrade, Charlo versus William Monroe, since William Monroe is back and picked up a win. You know, that was the fight they were first going to make on the first Fox card right in December. And that's still the biggest PBC sort of, quote, exclusive name that they have in the middleweight division. And Canelo's going to go fight Sergey Kovalev. And we're not going to get any sort of definitive answer about who is the best middleweight, even though it obviously is Canelo at this point. There are still enough contenders out there where there are question marks. And we're just not going to see those fights. And in large part, that's due to both these guys being rather boring. Not having the greatest fights, not having great fighters, great opponents. And, yeah, fights for shit, honestly. Very forgetful weekend in a way. And, honestly, we were very lucky that Comey-Beltran was slightly a above-average fight. Because that was the best action-packed fight of the weekend. And even that kind of was underwhelming per, I think, our thoughts about that fight and that matchup heading into Friday. But digressing, Rob, Charlo Adams, Andrade Solitsky both picked up, obviously, pretty definitive wins against ho-hum competition. Your thoughts on the performances of these two middleweights and who is truly deserving of that Canelo fight out of the middleweight crop?
It's tricky because I feel like Charlo's come under a little more under fire for this because he was supposed to knock out Adams and Andrade was supposed to style on Solecki, really. It's kind of what happened with Andrade. It's kind of sort of expected. I thought he would get a late stoppage, but he started off so well and then just decided to coast through it. But 120, 120, 120 straight, complete and utter, shutout. And you've got to be a real, I guess, I don't know, like die-hard, sweet science kind of guy to really, because there's people been like, oh, what a masterclass for this, and others are like, oh man, it was fucking boring.
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, Andrade's talented and skilled. Like, I want to address something here because I've always kind of shit on Andrade. He is clearly more talented than I give him credit for, right? However, the excitement sort of like DNA in fighters is just gone in him. Like the second he had Solitsky hurt in that first round, he took his foot off the gas. That was crazy. He dropped him down. He dropped him, what, was it twice or once in the first round and then severely beat him up that entire first round. Almost a 10-7 round. And then it went into first gear for the next 11 rounds. and wanted to dance around, play with his food. And that, to me, is why Andrade is not really in the conversation. Because he's boring. He puts on boring shows. It's not because he's not talented. I think you can make a legit argument he is more talented than Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo is just more exciting on average. You know, he just... The difference is with Charlo or Andrade is that, again, Andrade is so talented and so skilled that he has that, like, almost like that Josh Kelly effect that you critique and hate so much, that he just gets sort of lazy in there in a way. Like he's like a cat playing with the dead mice or dead mouse. Like he clearly is far better than Silitsky and didn't have any urgency to him. I think Andrade needs to put on exciting fights. He needs to. And he has moments. He just doesn't capitalize on them. He had tons of opportunities with Silitsky to put him out of there, put on an exciting show, turn up the tempo a little bit, but he never did. Never. And my only issue with that when it comes to the high level is that the best guys, when they have a dead mouse in front of them, they fucking eat that shit and move on. Triple G, he eats that shit and moves on. Canelo eats that shit and moves on. Wilder, AJ, you look at all of sort of like the great boxers of today right now, when they fight a subpar competition, they ice them. They get them the fuck out of there. Okay? Andrade doesn't do that. And in fact, he actually sometimes struggles with subpar competition. So he's just an enigma in a way with Andrade. That yes, I'm wrong with my criticism of him not being the most talented guy and being overrated. Absolutely wrong in that. This fight's a clear indicator of that. But I was absolutely wrong when I said this fight was going to be one of the most exciting fights this weekend. I thought Andrade Silitsky could not be an exciting fight. I thought the matchup, Silitsky attached to it, it was going to bring the exciting fighter out of Andrade. And it just didn't. It didn't at all. I'm impressed with, obviously, the talent, but not with his understanding of when to capitalize on moments. And the greatest fighters have that. They know when to go into fourth gear, when to drop down the tempo. Andrade doesn't at all.
No, I get you. But I think it just can't be overlooked that, you know, it was impressive. This, like people brought up in the chat, I was going to say it as part of my when you came to me about it, but you know, Selecki gave Jacob some real good work, and just Andrade has just kept him down. I believe I saw a tweet. He didn't land any round. Any shots in double digits.
Yeah.
They were all single figure. I mean, that takes some, you know, that takes a certain level of skill, in my opinion. And I don't think Siletsky is, you know, a bad middleweight. I think he's a top 10 middleweight.
Top 15-ish, yeah.
He got made to look completely ordinary and completely outboxed. And, you know, like I said, you either appreciate what it was, a shutout and the sweet science, hit and don't get hit, or you're completely bored by it and you just want knockouts. And that's what I was getting to, that Charlo was supposed to knock out Brandon Adams. And in a way, he, you know, was basically pitched a shutout as well, but in a much kind of, like, I guess, less skilled way. I think Adams...
Well, Andrade... The difference between like Andrade and like Charlo is like Charlo is basic in his approach, to be honest.
I believe he broke his hand as well.
Yeah, he said something to that effect. You know, he's a guy that's going to walk a guy down with just like a very simple jab and throw a lot of hooks. You know, like there's not a lot of variety with his style, with his game plan. There's not a lot of finesse to it. Andrade is all finesse. You know what I mean? Like he's all style and kind of lacks substance in a way. Charlo's like nitty gritty dirt, but that dirt's fucking solid. You know, you're gonna grow shit off of it. Andrade just, again, God, fight was so trash. And I will add to this, it's not like it's a one-time thing with Andrade. He has had a career of bad fights.
Yeah, so I don't know why everyone's surprised.
It's not. I think the matchup seemed like it was a more exciting matchup because, again, Silitsky, He brought a good fight out of Jacobs. He brought a good fight out of Gabriel Rosado. He's a guy that puts on good shows, in a sense, He's a basic fighter that usually relies on fun fights to do anything. So that is a tailor-made opponent for Andrade to style on, in a sense, but to be more definitive with that style. And again, you can't ignore the fact that Silitsky was hurt numerous times, and Andrade just never capitalized on it. Like, that is an issue, because certain guys won't just dance around with him and do nothing like Silitsky did. Silitsky felt some of that power and didn't want to do anything. Canelo's not going to do that. Triple G's not going to do that. Maybe even Charlo's not going to do that. Like, these are all fights that need to happen. So I'm not here to anoint Andrade the best 160 pounder. The guy styled on Silitsky who struggled with Gabriel Rosado, which you brought up, Rob, right? You brought that up on the previous show that, hey,
yeah,
Silitsky struggled with the Rosado of all people nowadays.
Late on, he got caught, and then he was like, it was a bit of a scary moment for Silitsky. But
I would say he struggled. I would say like that's an apt, sort of description of that fight. Like, it wasn't like it was a walk in the park in any way, even in the earlier rounds, I would say. But digressing, again, I just think Andrade, Charlo, you need to do more in this division. I'm not here to annoy any of you, the best guy at 160. As far as I know, you're walking around paper belts, so that doesn't mean anything to me.
But yeah, as far as where they go next, I think if Andrade was going to get a fight next, it's definitely not Canelo. It's potentially Triple G, although I've seen a lot of talk of Triple G Munguia, with Munguia moving up to 160. And Charlo, like you said, Monroe, someone like that. People saying, well, it's obvious now. Charlo and Andrade need to fight each other, but ain't gonna happen, PBC guy going over to the zone. I don't see it. I mean, is Jacobs like exclusive to the zone, or being an Al Heyman guy? Could we get Charlo Jacobs? I doubt it. Apparently moving up. So
I don't know if he has a DAZN deal. That would be like the question that needs to be asked.
I think he does. I think
he does as well. That's the issue.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about that, but I'm not being funny. I don't know what's left for Charlo over on that side of the street. I'm really not sure.
Nothing.
Because it's just gonna continue being maybe a dominant performance or a knockout, but against guys that we really are sick of kind of seeing him fight now. And I don't want to hate on him, because he can be exciting, and obviously he talks that shit. Although
you're talking about Charlo,
yeah,
no, I don't care to see any of them right now.
No,
I'll be honest. Like, there's a reason I didn't do a live fight chat for both of these fights, because both these fights sucked on paper, honestly, and they kind of, and Rob, the actual like what came out of it was shit. Like, there was nothing good about any of these fights. Like, I was sitting there watching both these fights at the same time, going, "Why am I doing this to myself?" It's a Saturday night. I could be out in the town. No, I'm sitting here watching Charlo miss a shit ton of hooks and look sloppy on the inside. Looks like he can't hit shit against Brandon Adams. Man, that was soundbite. Man, you haven't played the soundbite once today, man. You're slipping. No. And Andrade, God, man. The fact that, I shouldn't be surprised, though, because Andrade's obviously a matchroom fighter, but I am shocked, air quotes, not really, that the Matchroom fanboys have not made side-by-side videos or GIFs of Andrade and Deontay Wilder. Shocked. I will say that. Okay, both these guys are irrelevant at this point because of who they're fighting. They need to fight someone relevant. And Andrade Triple G, I'm all for that fight. I'm picking Triple G. Moving on, talking about guys I still don't like. Khalid Yaffe against Norberto Jimenez. I was thinking like, oh man, this is the fight that's gonna be like the Kid Galahad moment. Where like, man, I was totally wrong about this guy. Nope.
Also broke his hand as well.
Yeah, he did. A lot of guys broke their hands, I feel like, this weekend. Didn't it? Somebody else on the ESPN card as well. I think like Carlos Damas broke his hand. He was complaining about it, something. Anyways, I mean, Roberto Jimenez is putting on Yafe in some rounds. Like, I know this is I know this was rather a clear win for Yafe, but Jimenez was doing some work. I was shocked by that. I was shocked how hittable Yafe was. His defense was just atrocious in this fight. And also, there was times where he was really chasing Jimenez around and not really cutting off the ring. And I was allowing Jimenez to land some counters. Just some things that Yafe should look at this tape and be sort of frustrated with this fight because he could have performed better, in my opinion, and he didn't. And I was sort of expecting him to. Rob, your thoughts, Khalid Yafe?
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of he dominated the fight. He just needs a big name now. He needs to unify. I'm not really interested in seeing him against someone who isn't. And I know one of the Maloneys has been calling him out. He's mandatory, but I don't want to see that, to be honest. I know I normally one for, well, he's mandatory. He's earned his shot. He should get his shot, but obviously a unification would supersede that anyway. So he just needs. I mean, now Matchroom have signed Estrada. They've got Rungvisai. He just needs a big fight now. I don't want to see.
Yep. That Estrada fight makes the most sense. Just run that.
Yeah, for sure. I think Estrada's got a fight card in August. He's going to be headlining in Mexico. I think it's August 24th. But yeah, no, he done his thing again. I think he's the longest reigning world champion in UK currently, and I'm just, I don't know, just not looking forward to another like non-unification fight. But yeah, if Eddie sort of suggested that will be the case now, that's what he needs now, and that kind of level of fight, because of the weight that he's at, he's made some money, but at those weight classes, it's not life-changing money or by any means. But in unification could be the fight that sort of kind of sets him up for life, and I think it's long overdue now. So that's all I want to see now is a unification fight.
I did not see the Joseph Parker fight. I missed that one, unfortunately.
I heard it was great output, great work rate, great everything. He just could not put the killer blow onto Leopai. He just tough.
The ref waved it off like as Leopai was standing, right? Like it wasn't like it was a clean knockout or anything like that.
Yeah, I think the ref was just like, I've had enough now as well. And Leopai had just been beaten up basically, but it didn't really hurt him. He came out sort of fast, and then again, kind of like Andre, like you said, sort of came out fast, looked good, and then I think there was a case of like, fuck, I don't know if I can keep this pace up for the rest of the fight. I'm going to have to just slow it down a little bit because I don't know that I can get this guy out of here. He's one tough son of a bitch. So, yeah. But he's got the W now. There's talk of, I think it'll be Chisora next if he gets past Spielka. So that's sort of where they're going with Joseph Parker, I think.
Moving on, because I really don't care about the rest of the fights this weekend that happened, like the undercards. Erickson Lubin picked up a good win, but I wasn't watching it intently, I'll be honest, so I'm not comfortable giving like an in-depth take on Lubin's performance because I really wasn't watching it in-depthly. Moving on, Callum Smith will look at an offer from Billy Joe Saunders. That's a 50-50 split for a BT Sport pay-per-view. Now, Rob, I think you sent this to me last night, right? This news. Last night, yeah. I think this is a really good fight. And I understand why it's pay-per-view in the UK. You can make a legit argument it's a better, quote, UK pay-per-view than a lot of what you guys have had recently. Like Frampton, Warrington, White versus... what was it? What was it in December? Why am I forgetting? Chisora. That's right. Chisora, the rematch. And what else have you guys had for pay-per-view? Wilder Fury.
What have we had? Joshua Ruiz, obviously.
Yep. This is on paper, like heading into a fight, the best pay-per-view that you guys have probably had to date, like this year or the last 6 months or so.
Do you not put Billy Joe Saunders in the Andrade bracket?
In what way?
Look, he's not going to really knock anyone out. He's just going to,
Yeah, I do.
do his thing.
I do. The difference is that he's done it against really good competition, like better competition than Andrade. That's the difference. Like Saunders has had that clinic, and like a really good clinic against David Lemieux. That's a far better win than Slitsky. And the only other win that's notable really on Andrade's resume is at 154 with Vans Monterosa, and that was a back-and-forth affair. That wasn't a clean UD for Andrade in any way. So, yes and no. Obviously, because Billy Joe Saunders, I'm not expecting anything exciting from him, right? But I also don't fault him for it as much because he's done it against really good opponents. Same with like Caleb Plant, for example, right? Caleb Plant, not the most exciting guy. We can all admit that. But he's done it against really top competition at this point. When he was doing it against subpar competition, I was always criticizing him because he wasn't doing enough, in my opinion. But anyways, digressing from that, unless you want me to clarify my point anymore.
No. Carry on.
I think Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders is an intriguing fight. Billy Joe Saunders is adding a bunch of muscle, it looks like, from all the footage we've seen of training. I think he's going to grow into 168 kind of well, actually. Callum Smith is just a giant guy at that division, so obviously he's going to be far bigger than him. I think Callum Smith should be the favorite, but this is going to be an intriguing fight. Because what we thought maybe George Groves could do well against Callum Smith, Billy Joe does that times 10. So I'm intrigued to see if Callum Smith can really sort of cut off Billy Joe Saunders' footwork and, trap him in corners, beat him up. I'm curious about that. If he can't, then it's going to be a Billy Joe unanimous decision all night. And a huge win for him at 168. And probably his best career win to that point. So I'm all in favor of this matchup. It makes complete sense. If Billy Joe is going to stay at 168, then fight great 168 pounders. And Callum Smith has won them right now. So I'm all in favor.
Rob? Billy Joe moved up to 168, picked up that vacant WBO title against Isufi, who got absolutely outboxed for like 35 minutes and 59 seconds. But in that 1 second, Isufi wobbled Saunders with like a temple shot. Saunders' legs buckled. He was able to, kind of run away from it and then clinch up and get through it. But that was his Sufi. Now we're talking, Callum Smith, who's a monster at the weight. I just think at some point in the fight, Callum would get to him and, put a hurting on him. But it is intriguing because we know how sort of slick Billy Joe is. But I don't know. That's
and also one of those guys that does fight to the level of his competition.
Yeah,
in my
maybe.
opinion.
Yeah. But what Billy Joe? You mean? Sorry.
Yeah, Billy Joe. Like he's definitely a guy that if he's fighting bad opponents, he doesn't try in training camp. He doesn't try in the fight. If he has a real opponent, you see him actually work out in training camp. Get in shape. You see him actually try in the fight to like be clean, be fundamental with his work, and have a game plan. He's definitely one of those guys that if he's not fighting someone good, it's going to be an even worse Billy Joe Saunders fight.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder if this gets made just for the pure fact that it's over on BT. I don't think Eddie and Sky will be too happy if that's where they want to go. I guess Eddie's job is to make sure he gets the best deal, but Eddie has obviously talked about upping the standard of the fight cards over here in the UK, and that would be a great fight to have on for for Sky to stop the people hating on the cards that have been around just lately. But I don't know if it would. I don't know that this gets made because I think they're looking for a big fight for Callum Smith, and I mean Billy Joe's never been particularly a draw. I think Callum Smith, I think in Liverpool would be, but wouldn't say he's some superstar big draw as well. So I'm not sure, but the fact that this is an offer from Frank Warren to a Sky fighter makes me question it or doubt it. But but I believe.
Well, why does your man Eddie want to work with people, man? I mean, Frank Warren's the one sending offers, man. Like trying to get the big fights.
Yeah. Yep. No, I understand. Yeah, I agree. But I just for the reason like a lot of fights that get made, it's networks, right? So that's my only feeling on it. Like potentially that fight only happens on BT. I don't think Saunders comes over to Sky. So that's just how it is, I guess. That's just so what else is left for Callum Smith? I believe they're sitting down this week to sort of get that plan together as to where they go. But yeah, I don't know. Part of me will be surprised if it happens over on BT, but we'll see. But interesting. I'd want to see it. That's for sure.
Some quick topics to run down. Then let's go to callers 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. International callers. Skype Mixed Combat Radio. Per Ring Magazine, as per sources, Jarrett Hurd has exercised the rematch clause on Tuesday for the rematch with J-Rock, but possibly November or December, possibly in Philly. And last topic of the day, Jezreel Corrales coming back against Ladarius Miller, set for the Gervonta Davis Nunez undercard. It's a decent little card. What's the term? What's the best way to phrase it? Like it's a good card support. Like it's a good co-main event in a way for like a Showtime, little tiny card with Gervonta Davis on it. I'm on favor of that. Plus, me, always been a fan of Jezreel Corrales. But let's go to callers. Rob, unless you have anything to add or to talk about when it comes to Corrales, Ladarius Miller, or Jarrett Hurd versus J-Rock, which we all sort of knew was going to happen.
Yeah, like you say, it's not sort of surprising on that front. As the former champ, he obviously had that rematch clause, so no surprise to see him, triggering it and trying to get his titles back. So yeah, let's go to callers. I'm sure Gary's.
Oh, he is. He's right there. He's ready for you. Rob, pause. Gary, what's up?
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Really, my beef is not with Rob. It's with you, Matt.
I know.
So you don't think that Andre's performance was highly impressive yesterday?
I mean, it showed that he's talented.
No, so you don't need to answer it.
It showed that he was talented. It showed that he was talented, absolutely. But was I impressed by that? No, I was not. I was bored. I stopped watching. I'll be honest. I stopped watching the 7th round, and I texted people. I was like, "Hey, this fight's gonna go the full 12. It's gonna look the same exact way for the next 5 rounds." Guess what? I was right. That's an issue.
All right. So two things, right? Andre has pop, but he's a terrible finisher. I mean, how many guys has he had in trouble, right? And but now able to stop them, right? I grant you that he does not put his power shots together well, and he doesn't finish. He doesn't have that killer instinct, right?
Yeah.
That's for granted. Is that going to matter against Canelo or Triple G?
Yes.
Because he's not going to look to finish those guys anyway. So
it's not about
impact.
It's not necessarily about do I want Andrade to look for the finish against Canelo or Triple G? It's not about that. It's about does Andrade have the quote boxing IQ in a sense to know when to capitalize on moments? That's what it is. Because if he has moments of success against Canelo, things are working for him, but he doesn't keep going to that well because he's stuck on, I'm just going to try to box here. I'm going to try to throw my jab out, some loose seeds here and there. I'm not going to string combinations together. I mean, just box. guys like Canelo are going to piece him apart. They are, because Canelo knows how to capitalize on moments of opportunity. When he has windows to throw combinations, he does throw those combinations. Andrade doesn't. He will have a opponent dead to rights in front of him that he could land a shot on, land a combination on, and he doesn't. That is an issue when you're fighting the very best opponents, absolutely. It may not be that I'm looking for him to finish those opponents, but are you doing something? You have a opening here. You have a window of opportunity. What are you doing with that window? You doing nothing with it? Then I expect you to do nothing with those windows of opportunity against the very best guys. And the very best guys won't let you just dance around and outbox them.
Okay. Maybe. Triple G.
Maybe, yeah, of course. Triple G is an easier fight. Triple G is a much easier fight for him. Absolutely. No doubt about that.
I don't want if I'm Andrade's team, I don't want him going for the kill against, or even really, I want him just to stay on the outside. Don't let Triple G cut the ring off on him, and just stay on the outside and try to out-jab him and outland him at enough rounds. Because if they get in exchanges, he's not good in exchanges, and he's going to get knocked out.
Yep.
I'm just being real. So just don't even try it. Just if he gets close to you, tie him up immediately, right? Like the same way that Holyfield fought Mike Tyson. If he gets up on you, smother him immediately. Don't even try to exchange with him, and just outbox him from the outside. Canelo moves a lot better than Triple G. That's going to be a tougher fight, right? Mm-hmm. But like, when did Jacobs have his most success? When he fought as a big, tall, rangy lefty with power. So in essence, Jacobs had his success when he tried to fight like Andrade fights. I'm not saying Andrade beats Canelo. I'm saying if anyone at 160 beats Canelo, it's him.
But the difference between Andrade and Jacobs is Jacobs throws shots. He throws combinations. Like, Jacobs has a really good understanding of when to throw a shot, when there is that opening. Okay? And we also know that Jacobs at times can actually be overzealous, right? Like, we never have to worry about Jacobs going for the kill. He might go for it too much, right? That's his issue. So it's hard to compare them because I think Jacobs was more willing to throw, let's say, that strong left hand out of the southpaw position. And on top of that, he was more willing to exchange with Canelo, and that actually was leading him to success because he had his most success when he was sort of throwing in combinations and counters out of that southpaw position, like you say. I don't know if Andrade does that. Andrade keeps to single shots way too much, in my opinion. But Gary, to your point about Andrade having the best chance to beat Canelo at this point, I think that's probably a safe bet. That if you had to pick the field, right, out of the field, who would you bet money on to beat Canelo? It's not Triple G right now because we saw that in the second fight, it's clear what way that trilogy is heading. One guy's getting older, one guy's getting younger. Charlo, I think he is far too basic in a sense when you look at him fight that you really think he can beat Canelo. And plus, I mean, Brandon Adams made him miss way too much. Let's be fucking honest about that. So Andrade, yeah, absolutely, especially with Billy Joe out of this picture, he's at 168. Absolutely, out of the 160 pounders, Andrade has the best chance to beat Canelo. I think he has no chance still.
Okay, and I wanted to, well, let me get back to, because I want to get to Charlo next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other, like, I think if Jacobs got another chance at Canelo, well, I don't know, I can't say that. Like, I think Jacobs would have a chance to beat Canelo too. I think he did it. He just didn't do enough of it, right? But Jacobs is good, right? And that was my point. Jacobs struggled with Selecki. Not that he won, but Selecki won rounds against Jacobs.
Yes.
Like, Selecki had moments. He had no moments with Andrade. None. Like, he lost every round pretty much. I think he did lose every round on every scorecard. The skill level.
Yeah, but Gary, but then you get into like boxing math, right? Where it's like, oh, this guy beat this guy, and this guy looked worse, so therefore this guy is better than this guy. That doesn't necessarily work. Like A equals B and B equals C, so therefore A equals C is not necessarily.
No, I know the triangle theory.
Yeah, I know it.
I get that.
But like for example, like look at Motor Rosen, right? Motor Rosen's probably the toughest fight of Andrade's career, right? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at what Triple G did to Van Motor Rosen. You know, like that's why, like, yeah, Jacob struggled with Silitsky, but maybe that's just the style matchup. Like we talked about earlier, like Jacobs is willing to exchange. So maybe if Jacobs wasn't willing to exchange and kept to boxing, he would have outclassed Silitsky, but he didn't because he's willing to exchange. He's willing to go into the fire. Andrade's not. Andrade does not want to dance on the inside.
My point about Silitsky is he's a top 10-ish. I don't think I had him in my top 10 middleweights, but he's not that far. He might be top 12 or 13 middleweights, and he's got good wins, right? Like, I mean, not great wins, but he got wins over Hugo Santenio, Jack Quilquet, the other Polish guy, George Costa. Like, he's got some wins. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a solid pro.
Yeah. No, he's not a bum. No, absolutely.
And he was completely outclassed from the opening bell on to Andrade. Right?
Absolutely.
And no, I get that Andre's got flaws for sure, but especially against Triple G, I think his, you know, just safety first. Just the way he boxed those last 5 rounds against Silitsky, where it's like, okay, this is going to put me to sleep, so I'm just going to change the channel because I've seen this movie before. That's how he has to box against Triple G. Now, it's not going to be sexy. It's not going to be the most entertaining thing in the world. But I think if he does that, he beats Triple G. Canelo, he's got a chance, but that's going to be a lot trickier. He's going to have to do more things because Canelo's better defensively. He makes you miss, and he's more athletic than Triple G. But he would have a chance, a legitimate chance with Canelo, I think.
Man, you're betting on Andrade to win rounds against Canelo. I'm not betting on that.
Well, the judges are going to do what the judges are going to do, right? But I think the judges were fair.
It's not. I'm not talking about the judges. That wasn't. You know me.
Okay.
That wasn't a dig at like corruption. No, I'm just saying like Canelo's a master at winning rounds. If you watch Canelo fight, he's really active in the first 30 seconds and the last 30 seconds of every fucking round. Okay, like that is a veteran move. Okay, like he is a very difficult person to win rounds off of. And again, I will say this, Triple G, I think we are sort of like taking him out for the pastures and trying to train like Old Yellow really fast, but he can still beat Andrade. He is still a guy that has really good boxing ability and fundamentals, great power, and also great accuracy, timing, ability to capitalize on opportunities. I think Andrade would be in a tough fight against Triple G. While I do think he might have a chance to win it, I'm still picking Triple G to win.
Okay, which is like the last thing I wanted to say on Andrade, right? Mm-hmm. When Canelo fought Jacobs, I'm going to call them cheerleaders, the zone cheerleaders were saying that Canelo's the best fighter in the world, peaking, and this is what the best fighter in the world looks like when he's at his absolute best, right? And then after the Andrade fight, they Moore and the other guy, Mannix?
Probably.
I don't know if you watched it. It was way after the fight. They both picked Andrade to beat Canelo. It's just, I get your cheerleading. I get that that's your guy. But, like, you make yourself sound ridiculous when you say Canelo's the best fighter in the world, and this is what the best fighter in the world looks like when he's at his absolute best. And then a month and a half later, you say, yeah, I think Andrade would beat him based off what he did against Silitsky. It's just, like, why do that to yourself?
Because that's what they're paid by DAZN, man. Come on. Really? Like they have a paycheck. I mean.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but you just make yourself sound ridiculous when you say Canelo's the best fighter in the world at his absolute peak, and then somebody scores a top 10 to 15 middleweight. You say, okay, that guy beats Canelo. It's like, you just told me he was the best fighter in the world. All right, whatever. Charlo. I'm trying to make excuses for Charlo.
No, don't.
And I thought he
don't make no. That was a bad fight. That was such shit.
My guy.
Yo,
yeah,
the fact that Brandon Adams. Okay, I'll put it in this way. If you are like not a great boxer and you don't box and you go box amateurs, they would do what Brandon Adams did at times, where they just sort of do the Philly shell, crouch real low, and slip all of your hooks and make you look like a fucking amateur, like a true amateur, right? That's what Adams was doing at times against Charlo. Adams just wasn't throwing back, so he was losing every round practically because he just wasn't throwing. He was not comfortable really in the pocket, throwing back mid-combination on the Charlo. So Charlo was just missing hook after hook after hook, every combination, just missing them, but he was winning rounds off activity. And it was garbage. It was so ugly to watch. No, you don't need to make excuses for that fight at all.
No, I'm not trying to make. But what I'm saying is, it's 2 fights in a row now against competition, where my guy really hasn't looked good, right? Like you said, I mean, he looks basic. I mean, if Adams can make him miss, what would Canelo do to him? You know, I'm trying to stay upbeat and optimistic on my guy, but it just looks like once he steps up against the premier middleweights, he's going to be in a world of trouble. Like, I mean, I don't even know if he I'm really down on Triple G, but I don't even know if he beats Triple G. Like, he's missing and leaving himself open. But any good offensive fighter is going to counter him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has no answer for Triple G's jab, and then Triple G sets everything up off the jab. It's like Triple G may knock him out. And I'm trying to say, okay, he overlooked this fight, right? He was given the belt. You saw him. He was throwing the first pitch at the Astros game the day before. Like, he had other things on his mind. He overlooked this fight. And then you say, well, what about the Korobov fight? It's like, yeah, that's 2 fights in a row where he didn't look good. I mean, Korobov's a top 10, 15 guy. Adams isn't. It's just, you're supposed to look good against these guys, right? Like, you're supposed to, like, he should have blown Adams out and you know, knocked him out in 5 rounds, 4 rounds, and said, Canelo's talking to me. I need to fight Canelo. I mean, what motivation did you give anyone to want to see you fight Canelo after that performance?
Well, that's why I don't want to see like Andrade versus Canelo. Like, neither of them are really blowing out competition the way they should be, if they're truly like that guy. Like, when we've seen Canelo and Triple G fight B-level guys, the top 20 opposition of their respective divisions, they ice them. They get them out of there quick and don't play with their food. I think Andrade plays with his food, and Charlo is just rather a little bit too basic at this point. And he's kind of digressed in skill, and I don't know how that's possible. But the Charlo that we saw beat J-Rock, is not the same Charlo that we're watching today. I don't know if we want to start like a conspiracy theory about how like there's another twin that's like the evil twin that's now like ruining their names as fighters. I don't know, but those aren't the same Jermall Charlos. Like, I don't believe that.
It hasn't looked good,
No.
and yeah, I mean, I don't know who he beat at that weight class right now. I mean, he might be able to get a Jacobs fight now because Jacobs looks at him, I could beat that guy. You know, I want that belt. You know, like, the performance was bad enough where other people were, I'll fight him. He's got that belt. I'll take it off him now. I guess that's worked out for him, but I mean, it was not. He should have iced him. He should have put him out in a couple, 4 or 5 rounds, and like he did with Hugo Santana, just blow him away, right?
Yep.
Because he went for the stoppage, right? He loaded up on a lot of shots. He was looking. He wasn't in there like Billy Joe sometimes, or just looking to outbox and whatnot. He was looking to knock out Adams.
Yeah, he just couldn't land.
Right hand, he was loading up on his right hand. He just couldn't land him, right? It's like, that's not good. I mean, this is not Pernell Whitaker you're fighting. This is Brandon Adams. Put him out of his misery. End him. And he couldn't do it. Not a good sign. You know, I'm not a guy who says, okay, if you don't get these knockouts, then you're not, then you're not an elite level world class fighter. But when you go for the knockout and you load up on shots and you're gunning for the knockout and you're fighting a guy like Cannon Adams and you don't get it, that's problematic.
Agreed. I definitely agree.
Another disappointing performance. Rob, your boy, Cal Yaffe, he's not good. I mean, why
I want smoke.
Take that, Rob.
No. Hell no. For what?
The Knicks are doing bad, man.
He is another. Go ahead, Rob. What did you think?
No, I think he has to be a unification next. He has to fight a champion or a real big name in the division. If
it's not a champion, it has to be Roman Gonzalez. If it's not that, I don't care to watch him fight.
Or Rungvisai.
Oh, Rungvisai works. Rungvisai works. Yeah, good point.
That division might be the best in boxing. Who's he going to beat in that division? Estrada?
Ancajas?
Rungvisai? Nietes? Ancajas? He'd beat none of those guys.
He could be Ancajas. Come on. Ancajas ain't that good.
Ancajas is another one. Yeah, well, he came up. He was really hyped and looked good early.
Yo, he's another. No, he's another top-ranked dog bay. Okay, like I'm not in the train of Urine and Ancajas being the next Manny Pacquiao. Fuck out of here.
You're kind of right. He came on and he won a fight on a British card. Just maybe 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Looked really good.
Like he looked fantastic, and that was right after he won on the Pacquiao card, and we were like, "Oh, this guy's really good." And like since then, he had a draw, which he was kind of lucky to get the draw. You're right. Ancajas is kind of like Caligafi, where he's kind of more hype than he is substance. So maybe he could win that fight. That's the fight they should make next. Although that's not really makeable, is it?
What do you mean?
But from a promoter, Ancajas is top ranked.
Right? Nah. See, I think guys like Gafe and Ancajas, those are guys that Bob and Eddie have no problem, like sending off to another network. No, that shouldn't be an issue. Remember, Bob just sent Jose Ramirez to the zone, for God's sake. Like, Ancajas is not a ESPN exclusive property. Let's not lie about that. And also, the win you're thinking of for Ancajas that put him on the map was the Jamie Conlon win. That one put him on a hype job map.
Yeah.
He's the new Pac.
That was a couple months after he fought on the Pacquiao horn court in Australia, right? It was
yeah.
A couple months after that.
He's southpaw. He's Filipino, so that means he's automatically Manny Pacquiao.
He is the new Pac.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, he fights absolutely nothing like him, but besides that.
Was it Tessitore, Joe Tessitore? I think it was like the next fight after that. No, it was the Jonas Sultan fight. That was in Fresno. That was, I think, a Jose Ramirez co-main event or something. That was a unanimous decision and was atrocious. And I remember Joe Tessitore being like, he is the new Manny Pacquiao. I'm sitting there going, what the fuck am I listening to right now? Holy shit. God, this is awful.
But you're right. Who would you pick, though? Would you pick Yaffe or
I'd pick Yaffe. Yaffe beat David Carmona, and he actually finished David Carmona, and that's a decent win. So I'm okay with that. I would pick Yaffe. And I also think he actually finished Carmona, and Newey didn't even finish a Carmona. So Yaffe is in that boat where he's just kind of boring. And he's not A level. So he's going to put on a lot of bad fights. But he's still a B level, B plus level guy, which Urine Ancajas is as well. I'd probably pick Yaffe. He has a better win.
We were just told and led to believe that Yaffe was going to compete with, Ioka and Estrada and Rungvisai, and he was that good, and that was,
Or back in the day, it was Gonzalez. Remember, it was Roman Gonzalez Yaffe. That was the fight for a very long time.
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn wanted that fight, or at least he was marinating and building up to that fight in a sense, maybe not wanting it at that time, but that was the fight they were looking at, and Roman Gonzalez lost, and this division has become a fucking shark-infested pool, and Yaffe is a little tiny guppy shark that's trying to live, trying to just swim, just keep swimming.
Dear God.
And what about Kudras? Is he out of that division, or is he still gonna?
Didn't he move up to 118?
Because he moved up to 118. Is he gonna stay there?
I think so.
I would.
Okay, and Warren too. Warren's gonna stay at 118 also.
Who? Rashid Warren?
Yeah.
He's always been at 118.
Who?
No,
Frank
he was
Warren?
115 for most of his career, wasn't he?
No, he's been a 118 guy, man.
He's always been 118?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I can look that up for you, but I'm pretty sure he's a 118 guy.
Could win. I thought he was okay. I know his last two fights were at 118. I thought he was always at 115 before that. Because that's potentially a fight Fe could win against a guy who has name appeal.
Yeah, he started at
three-time Olympian.
118. He's actually had a bunch of fights at 122 and 126 actually earlier in his career. He went down to 115 for 2 fights. So that's probably what you're thinking of.
That's it.
And then he went back up to 118.
Okay.
I bet the weight cut was too much.
I mean, both those weight, and then 112 is not as loaded, but 112 is top heavy. So
yeah, it is.
There's really nowhere to go between 112 and 118. Just
Or
pick up a belt,
fuck
right?
108. 108. You just had Tito Costa just get stopped by an unknown guy. 108's a deep division too, man. That range 108 to 122-ish, you have a lot of talent there, a lot.
It's too bad that no one watches those divisions because a lot of good fighters in those divisions.
A lot of good fights too.
Yeah. This Kovalev Canelo fight, this is going to happen, isn't it? We're getting that.
Yeah, I'm betting
in September.
On it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I would rather see Canelo stay at 160 and fight Andre or Canelo or Jacobs again. Why does no one want to see him fight Jacobs again? Right? That wasn't a good enough fight. We want to see it again.
Stop, man. Come on.
I mean, maybe not. Okay.
I'll put it this way. Okay. Jacobs is not on my list, period, for, like, I want to see Canelo fight this guy. Nah, man. Like, Jacobs was, like, arguably dominating that fight. Like, he won maybe 3 rounds, tops.
There are people who think Jacobs won that fight.
Yeah, and they're crazy.
I thought it was a good fight. I mean, I thought Canelo won, but it was a good. I mean, I thought it was a good fight. So, what if Jacobs went in and you would pick Jacobs to beat Triple G or Charlo at this point, right?
Yes, I think I would.
Okay, so what if Jacobs beat one of those guys? Would you want to see him fight Canelo again if he?
Yeah,
beat one of those
of course.
Two?
But he has to do something.
What he should do. He should kind of. He should, because they've always had that back and forth, him and Jermall. Mm-hmm. They should try to make. He should try to make that fight, right? Because he's still advised by Al Heyman, right? And he's got basically a 1 fight at a time deal with the Zone. Is that right?
I don't know about if it's a rollover deal. I don't know. I don't know the particulars of his network contracts.
And then if you're Jermall, what's? I mean, you have a belt. What do you just do? You fight your mandatory next, or I mean, I don't even know who his mandatory is.
Who cares? Who cares who his mandatory is? Who cares? I think if you're Jermall, you have to make a big fight. You have to do something at this point. You are losing so much steam and momentum that the only thing that's saving you right now is that you're one of the few fighters that's consistently fighting on free TV, on basic cable. So the amount of access that people have to you is far different than DAZN, ESPN Plus, etc. So that is a benefit. That's why people still watch Jermall Charlo fights. Okay.
So he's got to fight Jacobs.
Jacobs, Triple G, Andrade.
Go fight Jacobs.
Who else could be in that conversation? Maybe like a Rob Brandt. Like those are names that have to be in the conversation. It has to be top 5, 7, 8 names in that 160-pound division. He has to fight one of them now. Like ASAP.
Does Derevchenko move the needle for you at all? Does that do anything?
That's fine. I'll take a Derevchenko win or a Derevchenko fight. I'll take that. Easy.
They could do that.
Who?
Sergey Derevchenko
versus
Jermall Charlo. I'm okay with that though.
That's
Canelo's mandatory, by the way.
I heard Rob's reaction. Yeah.
Mandatory for what belt? IBF.
IBF, yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
Yep.
Anyways, Gary.
Just go make the Jacobs fight. He needs a top. Derevchenko's fine. I'd be fine with that fight. But he needs a big fight. He's been fighting the Korobovs and the Hugo Centenios for way too long. He needs to fight Jacobs. He needs a star name and a big money fight to get himself relevant. Not that he's irrelevant, but you wouldn't pick him against any of these guys, right? So he needs to go beat someone like that. He needs to go fight Jacobs. Like, that's the fight. Call Al. Make that fight happen.
Agreed.
Jacobs is moving up, though, I think.
Think Jacobs is moving up?
That's
Oh, wow.
I think Jacobs should go to 168. I mean, I think he trained himself to get to 160, but I mean, I've been saying that for like 2 or 3 years now. He should go up to 68. So, I mean, we'll see. how tall is Jacobs? Like 6'2"? I mean, I don't even know how he's reached down
tall.
to 160.
He's a tall guy.
By the way, Jacobs' deal was a 3-fight deal when Canelo was the
2 more
first.
fights. Yeah. He needs. He's still advised by Al Heyman, though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So okay, I mean that's the fight that Charlo can get, and he needs to try to get that fight. And the only other option I think is acceptable is Derevchenko, right? Like nothing else, realistically, is acceptable for him at this point.
Yeah, unless obviously it's like it's Andrade or Triple G or Canelo. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but those fights aren't going to happen.
Of course. No, that's right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Thank you for the call, Gary. Always appreciate the lively debate. Santiago, press 1, because I keep going to you when you don't press 1. I feel like maybe you don't want to talk, so just press 1, Santi. Makes things so much easier. But in the meantime, because we do have to talk about a topic that I totally fucking spaced on. Lomachenko, Campbell. All terms agreed. August 31st, London. Now, Rob, I don't think an official network has been announced yet, right? But I think it's assumed to be ESPN.
Yes, the fight isn't official, but that's the talk is that it's all sort of agreed, and I think maybe the TV stuff is the hold up a little bit before announcing it or whatever. But
what do you think is going to end up? DAZN or ESPN in the US?
No, I think I asked Michael Coppinger.
Full name there, Michael.
Michael. And I asked Mike Coppinger, and he said that Loma is exclusive to ESPN, so I guess it is going to be ESPN if that's true.
I'm all in favor of this fight. Obviously, I think we all knew it was going to happen. Should be a fun fight. All in favor of that. Moving on, Santi press 1. Santiago, what's up?
The other news.
Oh, I'll get to that. Don't worry.
All right.
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, actually, fun fact, I actually ended up sharing the announcement about that fight. It's more or less being set in stone on the MCR fan page. Funny that you guys are only now just spacing on it, but I'm actually hoping that is going to be something that's confirmed. Granted, I'm obviously favoring Lomachenko. I'm curious to see where Campbell is right now at this point in his career. I didn't think he did too bad against Jorge Linares. I know some people actually felt that he even did enough to win that fight. But, it's interesting that for me, I was looking forward to the weekend. I enjoyed the Friday card, but I think that the irony of it all is that it did end up more or less going the broken record route. And definitely the scores of the fight do not reflect how the fights themselves actually look, where people probably thinking, oh, well, he probably dominated the fight. No, it was far from it. Andrade more or less just basically did whatever the fuck he wanted in his fight. And as for Charlo, I definitely feel that, he stagnated in his progression. And Adams more or less showed why he was a finalist in the Boxino tournaments, why he won the Contender Series. He took that experience in him, but more than anything, you could see that he was just happy to be there. And that's pretty much what allowed him to just gut it out all the way to the 12th round, where he was giving, Charlo issues with his, in and out coming in and, just making the fight very uncomfortable for him, making him not being able to do what he wanted to do with him, rolling with the shots, taking some of those shots flush, and never once even going down. So definitely my first spot, and you were the one that basically said it too, is that at this point I want to see these two fight. I want to see which one of these two guys is the guy that's going to be up for it. Andrade had always shown himself to be the guy with the talent, but also with the least upside. So if this is not a fight that gets him up, and if this is a fight where Charlo doesn't show that he has improved since these two fights, there are very serious questions to be raised about what they've been doing in their training camps and where their minds are at and what they want to achieve. Because yeah, the money man may be Canelo right now, and that's the fight they want to get up for. But if they can't get up for the competition that they're facing off right now, and if they can't be doing what they're capable, or that we feel they're capable of doing against lower tier opposition or themselves at this point, what the hell are we doing on the bandwagon at this point? Definitely me. I ended up driving up to Burbank during the fight. I had the fight playing, on my phone, and I didn't really need to see the fights to know what was going on at that point. The best moment of the night for me happened after the fight ended. At that point, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I largely know what you mean. I largely agree with you, Santi. Anything else?
Nah, man. I think it's interesting to see the Canelo storyline playing out between one guy 2 divisions south and the other guy 2 divisions north. It seems, like you guys have been saying too, that maybe they are going to be making the Kovalev fight, and if they are going to be doing something for Gilberto Ramirez and Anthony Yarde to face off each other, I think that's a great thing to do, especially for those two, because this is the fight for Gilberto to see whether or not he's even cut out to be at light heavy, and Anthony to prove, yeah, you know what, I'm not just all talk. I can do what I'm saying I can do, even if it isn't against someone the same quality or caliber of a Kovalev. So that's pretty much all I got to say at this point. You guys, I love the content. I love the work that you guys have been putting in. Everyone that's been listening in, share, subscribe. These guys are always doing what they can. Matt's got a fever. This guy's probably going to be crashing on the bed as soon as the show ends.
Yep.
So show him some love. Hit the like. Show him that his sacrifices have been worth it, because I give this guy a bunch of shit too every now and then.
Thank you for the call, Santi. And that's exactly what I'm going to do after this.
I'm amazing. You thought I was fucking blazing.
Yep, exactly, Rob. Verbatim, what I was thinking. And you can tell I'm feverish because I'm forgetting so many topics that.
Yeah.
I apologize, guys. So I forgot to talk about Canelo and Spence going on IG. Was it last night or whatever? And said basically the fact, I'll kick Canelo's ass. I want Canelo after Porter, and
I'm gonna call Oscar's bluff.
Yeah, I'm gonna call Oscar's bluff, and it's just like, oh, man.
Spence on the zone.
And look, in a world where Canelo's going to move up 2 divisions and fight Kovalev, is it acceptable for Spence to move up 2 divisions and fight Canelo? Yeah. Do I like this world that we live in? No, not at all. I'd rather have Spence getting on his IG story talking about Crawford than anyone else. But, hey, this isn't the world we live in. And on top of that, as I try to pull it up, my computer is being a little prick today right now. Where's that? Here it is. I wanted to address this. Oh, it was deleted, Rob.
Who, Tunde?
Yeah, Tunde deleted it. Yo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay. Read it to us, because I don't have it. I don't have it visually on my screen. I just have the URL. Oh, that's good. I'm so mad he deleted that.
He said, this is Tunde, who is Yard's trainer, in replying to Michael Benson, who obviously gave out information.
Repeated what Mike said, yeah. Or as you say, Michael.
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah, he said, I can categorically confirm that Anthony Yarde hasn't, in capitals, hasn't agreed a deal to step aside money or fight Ramirez. The plan remains to fight for the WBO world title as soon as practicably. Maybe that's why I deleted it.
Nope, I doubt it.
Not true. Yeah, so
stay off the weed.
That's the update as far as that whole thing.
Yeah, so for those that maybe want me to refresh what that was, Tunde, the trainer of Anthony Yarde, is saying that Kovalev Canelo is not happening, and we're getting Kovalev Yarde because there's no contracts in place to give step aside money. I'll be honest, it's Tunde speaking. So Rob, I don't believe any of it, but it's good entertainment, and he deleted it. So It is what it is. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today's show.
No.
What? We have something else? What? What do we have?
I sent you another one under that.
Boxing, just calm down for today. I'm sick. I want to go to bed.
Just one more. Okay, do you want me to read it?
No, it's pulling up right now.
Okay.
What is this? What is this bullshit?
Relax.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's this bullshit. Mike Carpenter saying, sources tell the Athletic Boxing. Why do I keep saying that? It's just Athletic, but that Twitter handle always fucks me over. Anyways, Jaime Munguia is possibility to face Triple G this fall if Canelo Alvarez indeed fights Sergey Kovalev, especially if Canelo Kovalev doesn't land in September. In that scenario, would ensure DAZN has Mexican Independence Weekend fight with Triple G Munguia. I don't think this is going to happen because it sounds like it's a, hey, if all these things don't happen, a.k.a. we don't get a Canelo fight in September specifically, we want Triple G to fight on that date. And I doubt Canelo moves off of that Mexican Independence Day weekend. I just don't see that happening. Not for Kovalev. Like, there's nothing Kovalev can do in the negotiation to leverage that, in my opinion. But I'm not surprised that Munguia and Triple G is being talked about again, as it was talked about years ago. Rob, your thoughts? Canelo, Kovalev, Triple G, Munguia.
Yeah, it would be definitely a savior as far as like the Mexican subscribers on DAZN. Munguia going up against Canelo's opponent, Triple G. I think that would do well. And if Munguia was to win it, he's becomes a legit star in Mexico. But I don't know. We'll see. This has all got to play out. Like you say, Tunde tweets what he tweets, and then it's gone. Canelo Kovalev, because there was a deal in place. Like you say, I think this probably just ends up being Canelo Triple G3 anyway. So we've just done a whole show with you being sick. Probably about a load of rubbish that isn't going to happen because we get the fight that was originally.
Rob, don't give away the secret, man. That like a lot of boxing news is just bullshit. Don't.
It's bullshit.
Oh man, fuck.
It's bullshit.
Anyways, I'm heading out of here. I'm sick. I don't feel good. I'm gonna go sleep. Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Rob.
Well, cunt.
Yeah, you can follow me Instagram and Twitter at UKRobMCR. Thanks everybody in the chat as always. Hit that thumbs up, share the show, all that usual things. So yeah, we'll catch you on the next one if Matt makes a recovery.
Peace.
You disrespect boxing, you piece of shit?
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Fuck that shit. Fuck boxing. Fuck boxing.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?